Well, there's 4 or 5 principles that usually show up in most of the literature regarding the law of attraction. It basically is a principle that lets us create the reality that we want, rather than staying inside a reality or a picture that we feel we don't like or has been forced or put upon us. And so what the advocates of law of attraction advise us to do is to visualize what we want. The underlying principle here is what we think about, we bring about. So there's a lot of energy spent on telling us how to change our thoughts and that this will change our life. So visualization practice is one of these. The second one would be utilizing affirmations, where you say things in a positive and using current words to help set those ideas in your head, hopefully to bring those ideas about into your life. Third would be helping a person learn how to expect good things rather than continue down the road where they see themselves as a victim, for example, or they expect the bad things to happen. They're pessimistic. Law of attraction books and literature attempts to help people see that they can't create a new reality until they expect better reality to come into existence for them. Fourth, there's a lot of emphasis on being appreciative and expressing gratitude in your current situation so that the universe or whatever source one believes in can give you more of the same, because it can recognize your gratitude and you yourself recognize what you're thankful for and draw more to you. And fifth, they do advocate that you need to take action. Most of the teachers inside Law of Attraction do say that after all these other steps are done, you have to follow up by action that will help lead to the reality you want to create. Well, I think that it goes deeper than the simple kind of advice. I think it requires a commitment and certain shifts to take place inside people that are not easy to come by, unfortunately. And I think it's oversimplified, which gives people a lot of hope, and it sounds optimistic, and I admire that, but at the same time, it can lead to depression and despair when it doesn't work, and people start blaming themselves that there's something wrong with me, I knew it all along, I can't even make this work. You know, these teachers want you to start by clarifying your desires, and maybe there's not enough emphasis put here, but we need to really dig down deep behind our desires. If you want a new car, it's healthy to spend however long it takes to dig down beneath that surface desire and say, why? Why do I want a new car? And keep asking why until you get to some very deep desires, because that's where you feel your lack. So maybe you want money, but is it because you want more freedom? That's very different than someone who wants money for comfort, and that's different than someone who wants money for security. So the process of even starting any process on the law of attraction train requires some introspection that is all too often kind of overlooked. You've got to aim for the true desire or else it won't work. The attitude of gratitude that's spoken about is difficult as well, because people are in some pretty dire straits and it's hard for them to conjure up these feelings of gratitude when it feels like the whole world is caving in. So again, it's a little simplistic to advise someone to feel grateful. I think it's better to work on a little more magical type energy and take just a few seconds a day to see what kind of circumstances you're enjoying and just let yourself enjoy that. And it might only last a few seconds at a time, but the longer and longer you stretch favorable circumstances, the more access you will gain to gratitude. Again, it's deeper and it takes more time and preparation than is typically talked about by people who advocate the law of attraction. Using oversimplification leads to disappointment in the long run, rather than being clear up front that it is a not an easy road to take. It takes commitment and it takes diligence to get through to the point where you have the ability to create your reality at will. It's advised to observe the way you talk to yourself. And this is tough because we might do affirmations religiously, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at noon, 10 minutes in the evening. But if we're talking in negative ways in our head all the rest of the day, or when we get on the phone with a friend, it's all complaining or negativity, there's no way that that small amount dedicated to affirmations or visualization can offset that. So once again, it takes some very deep house cleaning, so to speak, of the spirit to get to the point where there are true shifts in mentality, and that starts shifting the direction of the person. Little catchphrases like focus on the good. Again, it's the same problem as all of these. There's deep work to do before these phrases make much sense. The dreams you have for yourself have to become very clarified, very distinct, very detailed. And one of the things that is left out most often is the concept of alignment, which is something that we really stress at Modern Masters. And I think of all the things, it may be the key to making this work for you. The Modern Master system is really based on alignment. It's at the core. It's going to come up in every section. The concept of resonance and concept of alignment. It underlies our lives, whether we want it to or not. And so the starting point is to educate everyone about what it means. What does it feel like? What does it look like when you're in alignment as opposed to when you're out of alignment? So education is where we start at Modern Masters with just the concept in general. And that solves a lot of the problems right there, because humans are remarkable and they are fully capable of sensing things when things aren't right. And as soon as they are taught to respect those feelings and learn how to recognize them and know that they are the key to any kind of change in their life, they start making immediate progress. So then we can move from there to get to know themselves better and what really are their true desires. Not desires that they think they have, but what are the ones their heart really has. So there's a whole self-discovery and self-characterization program built into Modern Masters. And once you work through that and you begin your own personal journey, there are training programs and fun ways to do this. It's all done with utilizing game mechanics to help you actually get the training that suits your particular area or field of interest. So everyone's not created the same. Has to be highly individualized. And again, it goes right back to alignment. When you get to the point of training, it's very critical that people are in the right path for themselves and have access to the correct training so that their reality will get created because it's meant to be created for them.